Good afternoon. I hope you all are fine. It's a great honor and pleasure for me today to be on this TEDx platform and share my experience of journey of life with the help of the basic concept today what we have. The more excitement is because also the reason, very valid reason, is that today I am at my alma mater, the place where I've spent very crucial period of my life, 4 years where I did my engineering. So I'll take this opportunity to connect you all with the today's theme of collecting and connecting the dots. So what exactly are these dots for me in my experience of life? I mean, the best memorable experience in my life, which are good, positive, good, I would say best, excellent, and maybe the not so good or worst. And just to notify all these dots, which basically defines who am I. This is something, which I have learned so far in my journey of life. Just to make it bit apparent, I classify this in these 3 dots, as you could see in this screen. The green dot, it signifies that basically these are the positive impact one. The yellow ones are the one which I'm still exploring. I mean, these are some experience in the life which comes to me, and we don't know what exactly is this going to give us in experience. But eventually this gets either converted into green dot or it gets converted into a red dot. And the red dot means the danger ones, the one which we have an experience and we realize that these are the dots, these are not who am I, or I am not basically with that dot. So let me take you through this journey and explain you how I'm connecting all these dots in my path where I'm going forward. As you could see in this slide, there are 2 paths, Both the paths, upper one and the down one, both started from the basic, it's the time from our birth. And every one of us are on this path. I mean, this is the journey of the life, what I would put it. And the ultimate destination is basically to get the North Star, which also people say, or we say that this is the purpose of life. And both the paths in between, you could see a timeline. This basically timeline is a defined timeline, which we all as human beings, it's a suspense. We don't know when it's going to get to end. But the fun and the interesting part is that before we end to the timeline, we get our North Star. And as you could see in the bottom, the upper path is basically with ups and downs, and the path below is a very straight and smooth path. And everyone would desire that why not to go on this smooth path. For me, in the path which I'm going on, these 4 blocks, they matters a lot for me. Values, ethics, honesty, and fairness. Whenever I see that any of these things is not with me, I get myself distracted, and this really brings in back to the path which I am. And the dots, what you could see, the experiences, what you're consciously going to capture, this will help you to be in this journey of this path. So let me take you through how exactly it matters in my case. I just categorize this into 3 different phases. The first phase is my childhood phases. In my childhood phase, as you could see, and second one is my college, and third one is the one which is my professional career. My first phase of childhood, very interesting. Most of the things where I developed my basic value system, as you could see in this picture, this is my school. I mean, these are 2 classrooms of 100 square feet each. And this is the place from where I actually stepped into first to take the education externally from my teachers or from my guru. And you would be getting astonished, 20 students only, one single teacher in these 2 classrooms, 8th, 9th, and 10th, from class 4 to 10th, I was in this school. And I can tell you, this was the most exciting journey in my life, where basically I learned a lot. But at the same time, it's very important, like flexibility. Me and my elder sister, we were in this school. She was 1 year senior to me. I mean, I could learn one of the basic things, how to share the things, sharing. We both shared one school bag. We shared the classrooms. One teacher from morning 9 to 4, we don't know when our class is going to be. But the best part was this teacher, single teacher, she ensured that we develop our value system, we become passionate to learn, we take the education, and you'd be astonished to know that taking education from there, and today being a CEO of a multinational Swiss company, heading the operations in India of a global Swiss company, which is around 3.4 billion euro. Yes, this is possible. If you have a strong value system, no challenges can stop you from really going forward. And then the next system, which we have, here again I get to know who am I. Every dot, every experience will define me what exactly I am. Of course, along with this, my social system. This was a place where I was staying for 15 years, a single chawl of 8 rooms with 8 families and more than 50 people staying over here. For 15 years with my 2 siblings and my parents, 5 of us stayed on the 7th room, which you could see a 110 square foot room. But this also really brought me a lot of experience. And before I explain you what exactly was the positive dot or positive experience I could get from here, I also want to share you one negative dot or a green or red dot which I got over here. After completing 10 years staying in this, Our house owner, he increased the rent by 10 rupees from 40 to 50. 3 days, my parent couldn't sleep. We all three kids were wondering what exactly is going on. And then we realized that, the 10 rupees was a big load. We were about to shift the chawl thanks to the lady, the wife of our landlord. She ensured that, okay, for next 6 months, we were able to stay over there. And at that time, unfortunately or fortunately, there was something went into my head when I was in class 4th, that there is only one purpose in my life, to purchase a one-room kitchen. That's it. There is no other purpose. And for 25 years, 28 years, I was pursuing that dream, that nothing else I require in my life. After my education, I will go for a room. I completed my engineering. The first thing when I joined the job, I took all the nasty loans with whatever interest it is, and I purchased a one-room kitchen. Someone from you came and told me, it's one-room kitchen, it's not so good. It should have two-room kitchen. For next 4 years, I stretched for two-room kitchen. Someone again came from your side and he told me, it's not in the place where you are staying, you should have in Bombay or in Thane. I went, I stretched myself, I ruined myself, I put everything into the loan. I purchased the best flat in Thane. And me and my mother were the happiest person on the planet, but that happiness remained only for 8 days. On 9th day, my mom comes in the evening when I come from office, and she tells me, my dear son, you go and see the house which is next to us. They have renovated so well, there is so much of good things and nothing is there in our house. And that was the point where I realized that it never stops. Morning 3:30, I came to know this is not my need. I was pursuing something wrong. And this becomes, again, one more dot which really comes in mind, and it gives me a message that it's very important we pursue the needs which actually what we need, and it's really waste if we start pursuing the dreams which you not. On the other hand, I was so socially rugged, I became so good because I was staying in this chawl with almost for 15 years. I got an experience of 200 families, diversified crowd, all the ones from east, west, north, south have stayed over here. 20 kids playing, and all the basic value system, what is the system, where we should, taking pressures, flexibility. You would be wondering what kind of pressure. You could see how I learned to take the pressures. One single toilet for all the 50 people. So this very clearly gives me a message. You can give us a feel that, okay, how we can really hold on and still work over here. Taking all these things, when I stepped into my second phase of life, which is really the most important phase of life, I would put it, like into my college days. This is the picture of JNECIAN's 1992 batch, instrumentation batch, which I stepped in. It becomes very easy for me to connect with all the people over here because I have already the practice staying. But important was the people to whom you don't know and staying in the room partners, treating them as a family, it becomes very evident. And I was feeling very proud to see that easily I was able to gel. But here again, the inherent talents, the inherent potential, I was able to explore because, external environment, it keeps on giving you, they identify what are the traits in your. My basic character traits, I could really acknowledge and get it from over here. My room partners, when they decided me to take the lead to see that every month we pay the rent, and why I was selected, I don't know, but that showed the dependability was really much more at that front. So the dependability, trustworthiness, these are some dots which I could get and acknowledge when I was over here. An example of a trustworthiness. In Aurangabad region, in this particular time period, there are a lot of sugarcane juice sellers. They come from the remote villages. There was one poor remote villager. He brought a sugarcane juice machine and he was selling a sugarcane juice next to our house. And after 5th day, when we were going to this juice center, the owner of the juice center, he walks towards me and he requests me for one thing, that, sir, is it possible, sir, मैं आपके पास दिन भर जो कमाया हुआ पैसा है, मैं आपके पास रख सकता हूँ क्या? We asked why. He said, because the money which I am keeping with me in the shanty, which I say the thief can come and they can steal it. So I feel if it is safe in the place where you are staying. But it was a big question for me, what made him to trust me and ask me that if I can park this money for next 3 months before he goes back to his village. And my room partner, he immediately jumped in and he asked me, what happens if we don't give you back this money? As a joke, he said, that is the reason which I came to this gentleman. He holded my hand and he kept that money with me. And he said, sir, I will park this money with you for next 3 months. I can tell you, I get the goosebumps. That was the time when actually I was not knowing how can a stranger really trust and he can give this money and keep with me. I was very happy, I was thrilled, but I was not able to connect. But now I would connect that was the dot where I came to know that trustworthiness comes at that particular point which people identify in you, which you are not knowing. But consciously we have to absorb this. I realized that. I took this money, I kept it in my trunk. At that time, it became a joke. He was sleeping well, but I couldn't sleep for next 3 months because I was holding his money with me. But there is a lot of energy. So all these basic traits and experience, they taught me a lot in my life. In my college days, I was very much taking decisions. I was quite dependable. At the same time, you get to know what are the inner talents in you when people really talk with you and you get able to get the connection. Taking all these things, this became most important phase of my life now, which wherein I am. That's my professional career. And here you could see this is the place where again a red dot came in my life. At that time, completing my engineering, I was successfully completed with all my good GRE scores. I was able to get in top US universities the admission for my master's, but unfortunately $215 I was not able to really arrange to really apply for those universities, and I decided that I can't pursue my career in US. But it took one day only for me that, okay, let's come back and let's start pursuing our career in wherever we are. And then I joined a company, which is an American company, Emerson Company, as a junior engineer. And from there now till now, in last 30 years, with around 13, 14 promotions, I was able to really succeed wherever is possible with the help of all these dots, and which really were starting defining me, who am I. But let me tell you what I brought in from my college. There was a lot of potential for me. When I was discussing, when I was giving my interview, people will ask you, who are you? Can you introduce yourself? This dots helps. Like, this is what you are made of. But in professional career, you start getting much more feedbacks from the professional, your customers, vendors, suppliers, and they keep on telling you about your peers, what you are. And this helps, again, to start capturing the dots. In this phase, there was one thing which, again, what is in my DNA as a human I could really capture is that I, as a professional, I can work only in a trustworthy atmosphere. I can work only when my bosses, they can trust on my integrity. Anything, if this thing is not there, I'm not so comfortable. So I realized with my that red need, the red dot, that I should not pursue anything which is not my need if this is going to compromise my this green dot which I am. And exactly that was the reason which I continued. Late 90s, there were a lot of opportunities in the market. I was able to get 2 times salary, 3 times salary. My peers were getting the job. But I didn't budge. I didn't left. Of course, I needed money. But always there was a thought in my mind, is that my need? Yes, if I take that need, at what cost? I didn't want to take even a single person compromise on. If I couldn't get a trustworthy atmosphere, that wouldn't have been my need. So I pursued my career over there, and post 10 years down the line, when I met a couple of people and I realized that, my colleagues, those who left me after 10, 12 years when we met, I was a one notch up, at the same time but drawing much more salary. So this made me very clear that all this positive experience and dots, if you utilize at the right time and you be with your conviction, you will grow. Growing in the same organization is always difficult, but being over there and your bosses trusting you helps you to really rapidly grow. Then came the time, because I couldn't go out of India, I decided at that time I will always be in my country, but at the same time there was a dream. I wanted to work for an international market. And this opportunity came of working in Endress and Hauser as a Swiss company. 10 years passed, I pursued this. I took a little bit risk that I was not knowing, but I knew Swiss people are very good and they work only on the trust. So I dared to go there, I took this assignment, and I can tell you that brought a lot of experience. That also started teaching me that how I could be a good leader. And well, as you could see in this next slide, this is something which I got when I was on my leadership role. I did my Gallup Strength Finder, and this came out what are my inherent DNA talents. And these 5 talents, like what we call is a kundli, being strategic, responsibility, activator, ideation, and developer. These were the 5 dots which I got it in a professional way. But how do I connect it in my desi way? Then I started connecting all those dots which came from my childhood, my college days, and I started connecting how these are correlating. The day when I got the mantra like, okay, I can be a strategic, any problem if it comes to me, I have multiple ways to thinking, this is my natural talent. Why can't I use it? And exactly that thing I have started using in my this role, where today I'm heading the CEO of a company. Next coming the responsibility, I knew that, okay, how responsible I was. Anyway, it's in my DNA. So today, heading 350 families, or being responsible for 350 families which are dependent on in the company which I'm working, I'm quite comfortable because I know it's in my DNA, I could be a responsible person. Similarly, activator, developer, and most important, ideator. Every now and then, I could get a feel how ideas keep on running in my mind. This is my inner talent. This is my dot. So if there is any idea, I just put it and I just be confident on like how we can apply it. So all these experiences, again, tell me who am I? Well, and now going to the next step, this is very important part of my life. Again, like you need an inspiration. Whatever you are doing, how can you really qualify? Who are the examples? Because many a times, people tell that, okay, you are good in this because it's your natural talent. And what I could see that these were the 2 idols which I always keep in myself. Mr. Endress, he's the owner of our company, one of the topmost men in Switzerland. and the other one I needless to tell you. But the example I can tell you what happened with Mr. Endress when I joined. I was first 2 years I was in Switzerland. I was in my training phase. During my induction, we had an opportunity because I joined here as a marketing director for Asia Pacific. And he invited me for a lunch. And during lunch, I realized, he asked me end of the lunch, do I need a tea or coffee? I said, yes, I would like to go for a tea, sir. But I thought a butler or a waiter would come. And I was talking with some other colleagues. And in a fraction of a second, I saw he disappeared. But within a couple of minutes, I saw he carrying a tray with 2 cups of teas. And he brought from the 2 cups of teas and he was sitting in front of me. It was a big jolt to me to see that such a topmost man, he goes, he picks up the tea. How simple was he? How humble was he? He took me to his house. Nothing different than of a normal people they are staying. His office, same like us. He's talking like us. Very simple, down to earth. And this is exactly probably what I was. Being simple and natural, that was the mantra which always I was carrying. But with the external atmosphere, I was again thinking whether it's wise and need to be. But with such examples, I could realize that yes, what we are on the right track on the journey of life. Mr. Ratan Tata also met me in Switzerland in one of the places, Mount Pilatus. We were on the excursion. There was one single joint where we get the food. And I was standing in the queue, three members ahead. Mr. Tata was standing over there. I recognized him. And then I felt so humble, I was thrilled. I went to him and I requested, sir, you please have a seat, I will get the food for you. He holded my hand, he asked me to stand in the queue. He said, we both will stand in the queue because that's the rule, that's the discipline. And nothing wrong. For 20 minutes, we spoke, we took the food, we went back, we sat, we discussed for 15 minutes. I can't tell you what happened to me at that point of time. All talks, very simple, basic, nothing different. And this gave me a feel that when you're simple and natural, that helps you to be sustainable at the top of your career. You can grow, but if you lose your roots or if you're not grounded, simplicity helps you to really be at the top. So this was something wonderful experience, what I could experience when I met these 2 gentlemen, and these are my idols on that particular front. Ultimately, all these experiences, consciously when we collect, this becomes our green dot. And if we are able to collect these dots, map it up properly, this defines who are you. Who am I? And when you put it in front of a wall, you rephrase it, revise it, make it, formulate it. This will help to really make your path or your journey very well, profoundly going in a successful way. And that's what I would say, ladies and gentlemen, see that, in this journey of life, just keep on walking. Never stop, irrespective of whatever challenges it may be, professional, personal, or your career point of view. Because if you walk, you will come across a lot of experiences, and these are basically the experiences which get converted into the dots. But important is, consciously we map it and keep it. Before you really get it away, you should know what exactly is this dot for. But probably we don't do it consciously. Someone comes and tells me, "ये हुआ था तुम्हारे साथ 8 साल पहले, अब तुम क्यों कर रहे हो?" Let the other person don't decide. You and we, when we get into this journey, this helps. So just keep on walking, and I'm sure, one day we'll find our purpose, because it's not easy to decide at a purpose, what is my purpose. But automatically this ecosystem with these dots and experience, people will come to you and they will tell you, this is the purpose. Like today, people tell me, like, you can inspire people, you can add a value on people, they come to you. So naturally, I start getting to know what is my purpose of life. And with this, I would say thank you very much for patiently listening to me, and all the best.